Hi everybody, it's Darla over at Trying to Be One Smart Cookie, and we are going to make some of Darla's Cranberry Gingerbread Cake. Now this is a recipe I kind of tweaked out of other recipes I've tried because I found they were either too dense, there was too much molasses, there was blah 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 blah. You know, it wasn't to my liking. So I got my Christmas apron on. As you can tell, it's been well washed over the years. It is quite faded, but look how cute. Little penguins, little reindeer, there's snowmen, Santa. And just for a little pick-me-up, I have some eggnog with Baileys, just a little touch of Baileys, sprinkled with some beautiful nutmeg. Christmas baking is always better with a Christmas drink, right? Ooh, let's get that away from the camera though so you can actually see what I'm doing. So in this bowl, now I'm a pretty good baker, but I mean I'm not perfect. I have a cup of butter, a third of a cup of cooking oil, or like regular vegetable oil. How much brown sugar did I put? 1 1/3 cups of brown sugar and 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. Now I prefer the dark brown in my gingerbread, but if all you have is the yellow or the lighter brown sugar, that'll work as well. Your flavor won't be quite as molassesy, if that is a word. So first thing I'm going to do is put this on my mixer and whir it up. I just use the paddle attachment. I love this one that actually cleans the side of the bowl as it goes. I have a red KitchenAid right there, ready to go. And I'll be back after she's mixed because it's going to be loud. There we go. The sugar, butter, and oils are all mixed up lovely together in my mixer. And I'm cracking some of my beautiful eggs from my chickens. Look at these. They come in different sizes. Depends on the hen that's laying them. So this actually takes 4 eggs. So it's quite a rich, dense cake, but it's still got like a nice crumb. You're going to see. So the next step is simply to mix in the eggs one at a time until fully incorporated. Okay, so this is what it looks like once all the eggs are incorporated. I did stop it and scrape down the bowl a couple of times. And now I'm going to add in some freshly grated ginger, which is right here. Now that was just ginger. I freeze my ginger because it is, my husband and I are not going to eat it all, like a huge piece of ginger all in one go. There's only 2 of us. So I freeze it and then you can just grate it on your small side of your box grater for a recipe. I'm going to whir that in. There, fresh ginger all incorporated into the egg mixture. Another little sip for the chef. I am far from a chef, but. So dry ingredients. In this bowl, the whisk, I have 4 cups of just plain all-purpose flour. And into it, I am adding a mixture of, make sure I get the right measurements right. Oh, by the way, that was a teaspoon of grated ginger, fresh grated ginger. So my dry ingredients, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2½ teaspoons baking powder, 1½ teaspoons baking soda, 1½ teaspoons salt, 2 teaspoons, that's going in. Mix that around, I just do it with a little whisk. It kind of like lightens your flour a bit. Ta-da. Spices. Okay. 2 teaspoons ground ginger, 1½ teaspoons cinnamon. I put 3/4 of a teaspoon nutmeg, and now this is a little different, but believe me, it's not going to taste like this ingredient, but it's going to give it a little spiciness, is 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I use the fresh grated, but if you only have like regular ground pepper, that would be fine. So that's in here, and if you could smell that, guys. Now you notice I didn't put any cloves probably. Normally I would put a 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove in, but somebody that is going to be spending Christmas with us is allergic to cloves. So I'm just being a little cautious. So what I did instead was I upped my nutmeg slightly. Normally it's 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and I put 3/4 of a teaspoon. And I'm just mixing that all into my flour, nothing too fancy. Now, Here's my wet ingredients. I did that while my ginger was incorporating. In here, I have half a cup of molasses and a teaspoon, well, no, sorry, scratch that. Half a teaspoon of instant coffee granules. And then I filled it up to the 2-cup mark with boiling water. So this does a couple of things. It releases your coffee flavor into your molasses. Believe me, it's going to make awesome cake. And it also blooms the molasses, releases all that flavor into the water. So the next step is to alternate between your dry and wet ingredients into your batter with the sugar and eggs. And you always start and end with your dry ingredients. So I'll be back once that is all together. Here we go, the last of the flour just getting mixed in. Looking pretty good. I do have to scrape down the edge of the bowl here, as you can see. I'm going to do that right now. Okay guys, last step. I had some frozen cranberries. You can certainly use fresh. I just had frozen, I unthawed them, and I halved them. And look at the color of these beauties. That is 2 cups of chopped or halved cranberries, which are going in right now to my mixer. Gonna whir that, whir, just for a second, just to get them mixed in. There we go. Now, I am baking it in a 9x13 pan. I am using a glass one. So with the glass one, all I need to do is spray it down with some cooking spray, aka like Pam or a substitute for Pam. Now, if I was using a metal pan, I would not just spray it, I would actually grease it with some kind of fat, lard, butter, shortening, whatever you have, and put flour as well. So I would grease some flour for a metal pan. However, for a glass one, I don't have to. Look at this going in here. Oh, it smells scrumptious, guys. Sorry, I know. I am not a camera woman. I am blocking you horribly. But I will show you the end result in just a sec. Here we go. I'm going to rinse my hands. Just got a little water on them. There we go. Okay, ready to see? Look how gorgeous that looks. It is going to be so yummy, guys. Now, in a glass pan, $3.75 for... Okay, guys, the video kind of cut, but it's $3.75 for 35 to 40 minutes, probably closer to the 35 mark if you're using a metal pan. This was in there 40, and it is cooked perfectly. It is springing back when I touch it, and it smells amazing in here. Absolutely amazing. You can see a little bit of the white part of a cranberry here, but so I'm going to let that cool for a few minutes before I take it out of the pan. You don't have to take it out of the pan at all. If you prefer to just serve it right out of here, you can certainly do that. But I like to cut mine up in pretty little squares, so I will be taking it out of the pan, and once it cools down, I'll do a little taste test. Alright guys, I cut the end off my cake. It is a little crispy, a little caramelized at the end, and these are the trimmings as I call them, but they're actually my favorite part. So let's try it. It smells like Christmas, like it has the cinnamon, the molasses. Ugh. And here's some lovely cranberries in it. Can you see the red? Let's try it. Really good. The crumb's tender, but it's got that meatiness, you know what I mean, of a actual gingerbread cake. And you get the warm spices, but then you get the tart of the cranberry. I tell you, this one is a winner. Now, my edges got a little crispy, caramelized, I call it. but feel free to trim that off. Keep it for the chef. It's really good. And this gets my whole family's approval. They love it. And that little bit of black pepper and coffee make the world of difference. Anyway, try it out. It's really, really tasty. And if you like this one, you want to see some more baking videos, please like and subscribe. And I will have some more coming up. I'm going to try to put one every day from now till Christmas. Enjoy the holidays, everybody. And remember to smile at somebody today, because they might need it just as much as you do. I'm going to get back to eating.